Well, good morning. Thanks so much for joining us here on Up with Krim. I'm Channing Curtis. Well, this morning we are tracking some breaking news right now as there is a standoff between Spokane police and a robbery suspect in downtown Spokane this morning. Right now, parts of 3rd Avenue are blocked off due to that police presence. So this morning, Krim 2's Nicole Hernandez has been in that area and gathering information for us for the last several hours. So Nicole, what new information can you share with us?
So Channing, like you mentioned, what led up to this active scene here was at first an officer-involved shooting with a robbery suspect that has now led to an active standoff here on 3rd. So I first want to start with what roads are closed, blocking off a good portion of downtown this morning. So take a look behind me. You can see this active scene, lots of police officers down the street on 3rd here. It is at 3rd Street between here at Pine and Arthur. Right now we're standing right near the Frankie Doodle's restaurant parking lot. What you're looking at down there is right near the Goodwill parking lot. That's where most of the police are centered right now as of this morning. So just make sure you're avoiding this area if you're in the downtown area. But as for the details, this started about 1 a.m. this morning. Police tried to contact a robbery suspect. That suspect ended up fleeing in a car. At one point during the chase, gunfire was exchanged between 2 officers and that subject. One officer does have minor injuries. He or she was treated on scene. The other officer involved did not have any injuries. The subject, though, is still barricaded in a car from police down the street here. That's why we are still in an active investigation. Active scene here this morning with the roads blocked off. We've had dozens of police officers around the downtown area stationed here and driving around the outskirts of their barricade that they have blocked off here. We also had a helicopter about an hour and a half ago flying around with their spotlight. They've been flying a drone as well. So a lot happening here this morning. We are still waiting on updates from police. They say as the situation continues to unfold, they will bring us updates as they have them. In Spokane, Nicole Hernandez, Krim 2 News.
All right, thank you, Nicole. Now, you mentioned several road closures during this time, and we can see the barricades that are right behind you right now and all of the police vehicles. Have they mentioned anything about how this will affect drivers who are trying to get to the downtown area or even around the downtown area to get to work this morning?
So right now it's 3rd that is blocked off for the most part. Parts of 2nd are blocked off as well, and there are officers stationed at side streets in between 3rd and 2nd, between Pine and Arthur. So for people getting to work, if you can go around those, maybe take Sprague instead. Try to avoid the 2nd and 3rd area here between that Frankie Doodle's area and down to about Sherman. That's going to be your best bet. But police officers do say that this is going to be closed for quite some time because it's still a very active scene. To just be prepared for these closures through the bulk of our morning commute this morning.
All right, thank you so much, Nicole. Now, Nicole is continuing to gather more information for us and will continue to update us all morning long here on Up with Krim. In the meantime, let's get to our forecast with meteorologist Thomas Patrick. Thomas, what does the weather have in store for us today?
Yeah, good morning, Janine. And yeah, things today, again, just like they were yesterday, another decently warm summer-like day, a little bit of a breeze out there. And if you are catching a bit of that breeze, it feels a little bit colder than normal just because of how dry it is in the atmosphere right now. Winds no more than 10, 11 miles per hour at the moment as we are standing at 61 degrees just after sunrise. A beautiful scene out there in Athol at Silverwood Theme Park, where it's 58 in Coeur d'Alene currently. The cool spot at St. Mary is at 48. So it does get a little bit cooler when it is this dry in the atmosphere out there, but otherwise hugging 60 degrees, give or take, across most of the inland northwest. And we're shaping up to have another sunny, another decently hot day with those temperatures probably topping out in the 90s again. A little cold front lurking off to the north and northwest. That'll push down temperatures a bit more for tomorrow. But today, like they were yesterday, low to mid 90s out there with sunny skies all day long.
Well, the results are still coming in this morning for Washington State's primary election. Now, the top 2 candidates from each race will move on to the general election in November. So let's take a look now at some of the top races, starting off with the race for U.S. Senate. Now, this race had 18 candidates in total. Patty Murray is the incumbent in this race, of course. Now, she is in the lead right now with 54% of the vote. Now, she's facing off against Republican Tiffany Smiley, who has 32% coming in right now. Now, the AP is already calling this one, saying that Murray and Smiley will be the 2 candidates who will face off in November. Here's Tiffany Smiley's reaction to advancing to the general election.
That's why New York Times are already called this race, and I can't wait to see the rest of the numbers come in, because Patty Murray is scared, and she should be.
Now, Senator Patty Murray was actually tracking the results from last night's numbers from Washington, D.C. She says that she is ready to fight for another term because she says there's still work she wants to do.
And I go to work every day to be a voice and a vote to fight for the people in my state. Obviously, right now, getting our economy strong, lowering prices for families, making sure we fix our supply chain.
Moving on now to the U.S. House of Representatives' 5th District race. Kathy McMorris Rogers is running for her 9th term. Now, right now, she has 51% of the vote. Now, she is followed by Democrat Natasha Hill, who has 30% of the vote. Now, again, like in the last race, the AP has already called this one, so these will be the 2 candidates who will move on to the general election. Now taking a look now at the U.S. House of Representatives' 4th District race. Incumbent Dan Newhouse in a narrow lead with 27% of the vote. He is facing off against 7 challengers. Now following behind him with 26% of the vote is Doug White. In third with 22%, Lauren Culp. And with 11% is Jared Sessler. Now, they'll most likely not make the general election ballot. Right now, it's looking a bit like incumbent Dan Newhouse will be facing off against Doug White, but we'll be keeping track of this election all morning long. Up next is the race for Spokane County Sheriff. Now, longtime Sheriff Ozzie Knezovich announced that he would not be seeking re-election this year because he is retiring and moving to Wyoming. So John Knowles is the current undersheriff. He currently leads right now with 56%, followed by Wade Nelson with 28% and Michael Zollers with 16%. Meanwhile, in Spokane County, 4 candidates are running for prosecutor. Incumbent Larry Haskell is being challenged by 3 other candidates. All of them are women. Independent Deb Conklin currently in the lead with 28% of the vote. She's actually leading incumbent Larry Haskell with a narrow lead. Larry Haskell has 27%, followed by Stephanie Collins with 24% and Stephanie Olson with 20%. And taking a look at the race for Spokane County Auditor, both incumbent Vicki Dalton and candidate Bob McCaslin, they're the only 2 running in this race, so they will both be advancing to the general election. However, the current numbers show that Dalton has 55% in a lead over McCaslin with 45% there. Now, as results continue to come in this morning, Spokane County is taking extra steps to make sure that the election is safe and secure. So KREM 2's Malia Kamal is joining us live now from the Spokane County Elections Office, where they are already looking ahead to the general election. So Malia, tell us more about what the next steps are for voters after the primary.
Good morning, Channing. Yes, I'm standing here with Mike McLaughlin. He is the election manager for Spokane County and Spokane. And so Mike, we were talking a little bit about what happens if folks do not fill out their ballot. They receive, or they do not have a signature. They receive something like this in the mail that is just basically to verify who they are and to move the process forward. Talk to us a little bit about that.
So it's a signature update form. So if you get a mismatched letter from us or an unsigned letter, you'll get a form that looks like this. You just have to complete it and return it to us by, we have a provide an envelope that's pre-addressed to us, or you can return it by fax or email.
And now moving forward with the election, you know, we were talking a little bit about the process. Where do you guys go from here?
We'll go to certify this election. Then we'll start right on the November election. It all starts over with getting the voters pamphlet prepared, the ballots prepared, getting them all printed, setting up everything to mail out the ballots and start the whole process over again.
What do folks need to know about moving forward in that aspect? When should they, you know, cast their vote? What are we looking at when it comes to November?
So I believe it's October 19th, the ballots will be mailed out. To all the voters again. The voters pamphlet will come out a couple days before that. So then it is just you know, reading your ballot, read the voters pamphlet, make an informed decision and vote.
And this election, obviously, you said has been a little bit under. Why would you say that we've seen lower numbers this time around?
There's a couple different, you know, if they didn't like what's on the ballot or it wasn't interesting to them, because it is a primary, it's not electing a person. So the general elections, usually they're electing a person, so that's what they feel more obligated to vote.
Okay, well, thank you so much for this information. In Spokane, Malia Kamal, KREM 2 News.
Now, we are continuing to track election results from all over the state this morning on our website, crim.com. But for the latest updates on all of the election races sent right to your phone, text the word results to our number 509-448-2000, and we will send you a link to our live election update. The federal government is suing Idaho over its abortion ban. In the next 3 minutes, hear from the U.S. Attorney General on why he says Idaho's law could be dangerous.